Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode of Project 1 Ton. This video I'm going to work on fixing the locked front end that is stuck in four-wheel drive. So let's get right into it. So that'll be easiest if I just drew a little picture and explained it, then just try to explain it. So this is basically the front axle assembly. A axle shaft comes in from the driver's tire into the diff. Another partial axle heads out towards the passenger tire, and then it stops, and then that's a split, and then the axle carries on out to the tire. Now, where these two meet together, they are splined on the ends, and there's actually a collar that rides here. And when you're in two-wheel drive, the collar is over here riding on this outer shaft, and the whole front end then turns freely. And when you engage the four-wheel drive, the actuator moves this collar over this way and joins the two shafts together, locking the front end and giving you that four-wheel drive. So now I need to see just what's going on with the vacuum system, because this is all run by a vacuum. So I'm going to start there, troubleshoot that, and I'm pretty much guessing I'll need to replace the actuator that works this system. Okay, so I've already tested the system, so I'm just going to go through this with you real quick, so you can understand and test this yourself. First of all, I had to repair a couple of the lines here, because the boots were split. Now I just add some vinyl line here, and you know, it's doing the job for now. But the vacuum pump is down here, and such. Just unplug the line. Plug in the vacuum gauge. Now the vehicle needs to be running while you're doing these tests, and test to see that you actually have a functioning a vacuum pump. And I had like 25 pounds of vacuum coming off of there. And then the next easiest thing to do is get under the vehicle and actually test the lines that go to the actuator. So I'll get some mats out, I'll crawl under there, and I'll have a look at that. Okay, so this is the four-wheel drive actuator assembly here, and this is where the vacuum lines plug in from the switch on the transfer case. The red line, that's for two-wheel drive, and the black line, or blue, I think it's black, the black line is for four-wheel drive. So when you select two-wheel drive, you'll have vacuum here and not here. But when you select four-wheel drive, you'll have vacuum here, but not here. So like I say, do the same test with the vacuum meter with the truck running. Select your position, and then test the appropriate line. And if you do have vacuum here satisfactorily, then there's a good chance that it is actually the actuator that is at fault. So that's pretty simple test. Now if you have no vacuum at all, obviously you're going to have to troubleshoot all the way back through the system to the switch on the transfer case. In my situation, I have vacuum here. I believe that the actual actuator is at fault. So I get some tools and then pull that off, and we'll have another look at the situation. Okay, so that's just held on. This housing, it's just held on with four 11mm bolts, and there's that collar that I was referring to. There's the outer axle, there's the inner axle, and you can see it's holding the two of them together. So it is locked, the front end is locked into four-wheel drive. So I'm going to take this housing in and to the garage, and we'll have a little closer look at it. Okay, so this is the actuator that contains the shift fork and the switch. Now I've had this apart already before. I accidentally broke the ear off of it here, so I'm gonna have to weld that back on. I had pumped these full of WD-40, and this is as much as I could get that to move. That's not very much. So I went ahead and I ordered a new one. So I'm gonna have to take this apart and weld that ear on, and then put in the new actuator. Okay, so to get this off, the easiest thing to do is there's 3 clips that hold this, circle clips that hold this mechanism together. There's one here, and there's one on the end of the fork here, and then there's another one down in there. So it's easiest to remove these 2 first, slide that over, and then undo that one, and the assembly should just come apart. Alright, so I got 3 clips off, and here's the old actuator, and you can see it doesn't move very much. The shift fork, make sure you keep it orientated in the correct position when you put it back together. Now the kit comes with obviously new actuator, and the new actuator moves like this much. That's quite a difference. So new actuator, and you get new cork gasket, new clips, 4 new retaining bolts and lock washers, and 2 new skid pads for the fork. So first thing I got to do now is repair this broken ear, because that keeps this from rotating like this. It's not a necessity, but you know, it should be there. Okay, so I got myself set up in the vise, ready to weld this up. All I did was grind the edges back with a flap wheel, cleaned it with some acetone, tried to keep all the grease off it. I could have cut a groove in or an edge in to fill that in, but I'm just going to lay a bead over the top. It's just to keep that actuator from spinning around. Weld that the Chinese TIG on AC 5356 welding wire. Hold the phone. What's the matter with my helmet? Oh yeah, I left it on grind. Let's try this again. Wow, there's a lot of junk in there, but I think I got it, guys. We'll have a look at it in a minute. So that turned out not too bad. The problem with welding cast aluminum is you got to boil all the impurities to the surface usually, and then clean it up, and then actually weld it. So I think this is going to work, though. This only just has to stop that thing there from spinning around. Okay. Alright, so I had to take the switch out in order to weld that up. So I'm going to dress the threads with this Loctite 567 instead of wrapping it with some Teflon tape. Now I checked the fit of this in the housing. It's good. And I also checked that the fork went onto the shaft, which was good because other people on the internet complained that the fork needed reamed out. This hole needed reamed out in order to fit on the shaft of these aftermarket actuators, but I didn't have any issue. It seems to fit together, so I'm going to reassemble it the way it come apart, and then put the new tabs on the shift fork, and it'll be ready for installation. So I reassembled it just like I said. Seems to be working all right here. I'm going to use the original I'm going to use the gasket supplied, but I'm going to use the original mounting bolts that were on the truck. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, if you snapped one off, you have some spares here or whatever, you can use them if you want. That's up to you. But I'm going to plug the mechanism in, and then work the four-wheel drive selector to make sure that that this functions before I finish installing it. Got the truck all fired up. I reassembled the mechanism down there, the actuator, into two-wheel high. So we are currently in two-wheel high and in neutral. I'm going to drop it into four-wheel high right now. And I only got about 40 feet or so here in the driveway. Probably enough to go ahead and then come back again. There it is, finally locked in. Perfect. Now I'm going to switch back into two-wheel high, and oh, there it is. It jumped right out right away. So I think the problem with the four-wheel drive system is fixed. So hope this little video helps somebody out. Till the next one, guys. Peace.